A lot of people have asked to see a comparison between my texture pack and the remake. I can't compete with the 3D version, which has countless technical advantages to make it look better, but there are still a few things that might make a comparison interesting. The old game often had darker lighting that some people might prefer, and Glide N64 now has built-in support for reshade effects like path tracing. Citra doesn't seem to be capable of supporting depth effects, so the 64 version can technically have more advanced lighting in some cases. The 3D version also has a lot of NPCs that aren't improved by much, and often have lower resolution textures than the N64. Just for curiosity's sake, here's how my project and the remake look side by side. There may even be a surprise or two. Wait a minute.
What button did you push?
I pushed the button as you told me.
Yeah, well my textures are in the 3D one now.
I'm trying my best.
What am I supposed to do? I look like a fool in front of you two.
Pretend you meant to do it.
I'm gonna try to do the 3D one too. There's a full restoration mod to fix the remake. You might have seen the video I did on it this summer. Since then, Leo has patched basically every change covered in the Majora's Mask 3D review. Song of Time Saving is back in. Captain Kita? Fixed. Ice arrows? Fixed. Eyeball weak points? Gone. You can fight Odalawa with a sword again, like a real man. Twinmold is the only boss to keep the eyeball since the fight depends on it. Leo discovered that the reason the second half drags on so long is that Twinmold's hit counter resets every time it burrows underground. So if it felt like you had to punch forever, it's because you literally could. Now the counter no longer resets, so landing 10 punches anytime will knock it down, but you shouldn't even have to bother with that since only 2 rounds are required now, meaning you can beat him with just the boulders alone. The controls have also been improved. If you like rolling by holding A, you can do that again, or you can keep using the presses. The Zora speed can be toggled at any time. Arrow types can be cycled while aiming, and the transformation masks are now on the D-pad. The previously unused Z buttons now bring up the ocarina and go into first person, reducing the amount of touchscreen interaction needed to play. The songs also no longer repeat after the first performance, just like in Wind Waker HD. And there are even more improvements than what I've listed here. The original still does a few things better, but the remake is now on the same level as Ocarina of Time 3D, which is to say that it's not perfect, but it is the best overall version, and the one that Nintendo should have released back in 2015. Citra just added custom texture support, so it makes sense to bring the texture project over to it as well. In some cases, the textures drop right in. There are even a few N64 textures reused in the remake. Other times, the textures are really densely packed to make efficient use of the 3DS memory limits. It's not unusual to see arrangements like this, which are hard but not impossible to sort out. There are also some large differences in the art styles of the games. And while most of the textures so far seem to fit well, there are times when new elements have to be added or textures have to be redrawn from scratch. I've been basing the texture designs off whichever game I like better, so in some cases the 3D texture is done already. I still plan to finish the 64 pack and then switch to the 3D version, but that depends on a few things, the main one being whether people want it or not. Bringing my textures in will cause the art style to land somewhere in between the 64 and 3D versions, which I can just as easily see people liking or objecting to. And for obvious reasons, the project would also have to be stopped if Nintendo were to announce an official HD release themselves. Assuming that stuff works out, you can expect the project to start early next year and for it to be finished much faster than the 64 version, in part because there's already a community working on drawing and porting the textures. If you're interested in learning more about it, there's a Discord link to the project in the description. And Wand of Gamelon Ultimate Ultra HD 4K edition is still cancelled. And I'm still fucked.